the joke's on me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into this Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 edition of the Owen Report. Busy news day. I always have these other people in the media, they reach out. Producer DMT likes to start trash with me. It's a slow news day. He says, Schroyer, it's a slow news day. What? Slow news day? Slow news day? No such thing. I wish it was a slow news day. No, guys, I'm a little tardy today. Actually, I was captivated. I was moved. Did you know that Jim Acosta has his own show now, independently? The Jim Acosta Show? I couldn't tune out. I couldn't turn away. I was glued to my television set. Do they say that anymore, television set? I'm being facetious, but I did see Jim Acosta on MS Now. He's got his own new show and everything. I had no idea. I did not even know. Wow. Jim. I think it's time to get Jim on the show, actually. You know? Did you guys know Acosta, though? Did you know he had a show going on? That's how it goes. And so now I guess Scott Pelley is going to have the Jim Acosta situation now. I don't know. Maybe Pelley decides to take a shot at landing at a network. I bet MS Now would take him. They got they're kind of stacked over there. Anyway, that's in the stack today. No, guys, actually, you're probably familiar with this thing called life in the United States of America. I guess this is going to happen at the beginning of every month. So it's kind of just a warning. At the beginning of every month when I'm going through my finances and my books and dealing with it all, my mind is just blown. Honestly, my mind is just blown. All of the hoops you have to jump through just to live in this country. And I know a lot of you can relate to this. It's just, you just look at the bills. I look at my bills at the beginning of it. I'm like, how do people survive? How are people making it financially? It is crazy. It is crazy out there. And it's not just the bills. It's not just the expenses. It's the process. You're constantly calling them, trying to figure this and everything. Anyway, so I guess that'll be a trend at the beginning of every month when I have to deal with all of this crap. And maybe people aren't making it, actually. And that's why we have so much debt. Okay, let's talk about the show. We're going to start today's show off. We're going to look at the election results last night. Come on, it's my job. We got to do it. We got to look at the election results last night. This is political play-by-play. Elections still happen, or you might believe they're selections, but they still happen, and there's still relevancy there. So I'm going to tell you what we saw last night, and I don't remember if we signed off the show with this or if I posted this on X exclusively last night, but it kind of went how I thought it would go. And I think it gives us a pretty good idea of what to expect in California. And I think it gives us a pretty good idea of what to expect in Iowa. Other than that, I don't know if there was anything really too worthy of conversation today, but we will look at California and Iowa and some of those results and what it means for the upcoming midterms. Now, we got a ton of news out of the White House today. We will do the 60-minute Scott Pelley stuff. We've got a ton of news out of the White House today. It's all connected, though. It's all connected. So Trump does a show. Miranda Devine from the New York Post launches. She's got a new show, Pod Force One, because there's not enough podcasts. There's not enough people with access to Trump that he can do a podcast interview for. So, okay, here's the new one. Now, Trump says some interesting things in this debut of Miranda Devine's podcast, Pod Force One. It's obnoxious to say it. Say that 10 times over again. And there's a clip for almost every section of our news coverage today. So we're going to be putting in these Trump clips when we're talking about the Israel-U.S. military merger. This is a big one today. We're really starting to get a bigger picture of what exactly is the deal with this merging of the U.S. military and the Israeli military. So we're going to look at that. But it really is all connected to the White House. It really is all connected to Scott Pelley in 60 Minutes. It's all connected to the midterms. It's all connected to the latest news coming out of the Middle East. It's funny, they keep calling it a ceasefire. I keep hearing, there's bombs dropping in Kuwait. There's missiles are flying, all over the place. Latest missile attack puts ceasefire at risk. Isn't that it? I mean, that's ceasefire over. There is no ceasefire. They say, latest round of attacks, latest barrage of missiles has ceasefire at risk. There is no ceasefire. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the ceasefire. Never been a ceasefire like it. It's the only ceasefire where you can actually bomb. You can actually fire at will. You just call it a ceasefire. Nobody really knows. Actually, I pick up the phone. I'm like, who do I call? Don't even know who to call. Thought I had a ceasefire. No, there's never been a ceasefire like it. Nobody's seen it. It's a ceasefire where you can fire at will. All right, enough of that. So we'll take a look at that. We do have a little bit of data center news today. So it's beyond, the people are responding to this. It's not Chinese bots. It's not foreign propaganda. No, these are organic local movements. The people are responding to this. They're showing up at their city council meetings, local community board meetings. Now they're actually getting to the point of passing legislation. So you have it at the local level, very popular. Now, what's happening at the congressional level? As this is going to be a big issue ahead of midterms. What's happening? Well, we got some news on that. It's exactly as we've been predicting ahead of the midterms. So we're going to look at that. We got some other ins and outs today. We got some heavy stuff. We got some light stuff. Maybe a little bit of slop for you at the end, too. But definitely not a slow news day. Definitely not. Plenty of news. Okay. So that's what we've got for you coming up today. Today's show is brought to you by Allegiance Gold. Now, I want to show you guys something. You may have seen this. You may have seen this yesterday. But in case you didn't, this was all over the news yesterday. Let me pull up a couple different examples. Financial Times headline: Gold replaces U.S. Treasuries as world's top reserve assets. Headline: Telegraph: Gold overtakes U.S. bonds as world's favorite investment. Escalating fears over Trump's wars and tariffs push central banks to dump treasuries. Yahoo Finance: New report reveals gold has overtaken U.S. Treasuries. I think you're starting to get the picture. I think you're starting to see what it is we are conveying here. So you might also be thinking about gold. You might also be thinking about precious metals. You're seeing the news. Maybe you're losing confidence in the dollar. You're not sure you want to keep money in the bank, the stock market. Who knows? There's buzz of a collapse. All of this stuff makes you feel unsure. What can make you feel sure? Well, maybe right now it's gold. Maybe right now it's precious metals. That's why we have partnered with Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold wants to make sure that you are fully understood of the decisions that you are making, fully confident of the decisions that you are making. And that's why the first step is to just give them a call. 844-790-9191. Any questions you have about getting into precious metals, Go ahead and ask. No question is off limits. 844-790-9191. While you've got them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments, whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings. They make it simple to move into something real before the next reset, which we all feel is right around the corner. So go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. My friends at Allegiance Gold will take care of you. Nearly 10,000 clients nationwide. A-plus score, A-plus grade with the Better Business Bureau. You can't beat that. Protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys. Well, Trump is taking questions from the press here. I kind of still have this same phenomenon. I'm not even indifferent anymore. I'm like exhausted. But it's not even like a good exhausted where you've just put in a nice hard days of an honest work, an honest job, whatever. No, it's like a gnat in your ear exhausted. And I think the big cause here of this fatigue is his words have lost meaning. They don't mean anything anymore. He says stuff and he just makes it up. There's no connection to reality. So there's no point. It's like it's lost its purpose of listening to Trump. He's just going to sit up there and gaslight you and make a bunch of crap up, and it's totally meaningless. Why would I bother wasting time? Why would we bother? So I don't think we're going to be tuning into that. Let's look at last night's election results. And I think everybody, including myself, has confirmation bias or any bias. Everybody has bias, myself included. The trick is to recognize it. The trick is to be able to recognize your own bias and adapt accordingly. So I see a lot of bias in the right-wing media after the California governor election primary results last night. And Hilton, the Republican candidate, had the most votes. And they're even doing these, it does become a runoff situation. But they're not really doing, when I see it on Fox News, they're not really doing their audience any favors because they show Hilton up there with more votes than the Democrat, Becerra, except that right beneath Becerra was Steyer, and also a Democrat who was also had almost as many votes as Hilton and Becerra did. So the right wing is looking at this. They're like, oh my gosh, Hilton's winning. Oh my gosh, California is going to flip. It's going to be a governor. Oh my gosh. No, I would say last night's election results and the data that we have available, I don't know what it is about California, and they're just unable to count votes. It's a real challenge out there in the state of California, counting votes, tabulating votes. They struggle. They're still struggling right now, actually. They're struggling this very minute, sweating, toiling, figuring out how to add 1 and 1. It's a brutal process in California for whatever reason. They can't figure it out. So they're still counting. But the election data we have available right now, I would say it does not look good for Hilton. It looks like Hilton is going to get mopped up. And, I mean, whatever. It's California. I don't think that's a surprise. It's weird to me, though, watching the American right, the Republican media, driving Hilton like he's some sort of a strong candidate. He's such a flop candidate. He's got an English accent. Okay? He celebrated censorship. And that's the issue here. Everyone's going to remember Steve Hilton as the guy that lost the California governor's race. That's how everyone's going to remember Stephen Hilton. I'm going to remember Stephen Hilton as the foreigner that went on right-wing media in 2018 and celebrated internet censorship. That's the Stephen Hilton I remember. Oh, but now he grows a beard and he's the Republican candidate for governor, and now he's a champion of right-wing causes and free speech and American patriotism. Up there with his accent, celebrating censorship on the internet. No, thank you. No, thank you. Hilton is a fop. He's a weak candidate. And I just don't understand, especially if Spencer Pratt ends up winning, why they're acting like Hilton is some strong candidate. Bianco was a much better candidate, but, you know, he's not really a swamp creature. Bianco is a sheriff, and he's not really a swamp DC Politico type, so the Republican Party wasn't interested. Hilton is a political type. You know, he's a DCite. That's what he likes. So they will remember Hilton for losing the California governor's race. I will remember Hilton for celebrating internet censorship of conservatives in 2018, and that's why we are not the same. So Hilton, don't buy it, guys. Don't buy it. These people hyping up Hilton, I wouldn't buy it. Spencer Pratt, on the other hand, Spencer Pratt has a shot. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass punched her ticket for November's election. Spencer Pratt is still hoping for his. Now, again, they're still counting. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like Pratt is good. And Councilwoman Nithya Raman, came out basically crying about how she's going to lose. So it seems like it's pretty much a done deal here, but they're still counting. They've only counted 60% of the votes, guys, in Los Angeles, in just a single city. So that's just total clown world out there in California. My God. Spencer has a shot. I would say when I look at the election data from last night's governor race, Hilton has no shot. When I look at the election data from the mayor's race, Spencer Pratt has a shot. Now, let's say there's not too much you can assume about the votes for the third place Raman here. So you have to go right down the middle. Let's just say it's a 50% split. You might say that's unfair, but I don't think that is so unfair. I think if these people wanted Bass, they would have voted for Bass. So I don't think these are guaranteed votes for Bass. So that puts Spencer Pratt within striking distance. And really, if you look at the trajectory of Spencer Pratt as a candidate, it's only on the rise. Bass is trending down. Pratt is trending up. And now he's within striking distance here, and he's starting to get more celebrity support, more outspoken support. And now, between now and the actual general, Pratt's going to have his strongest campaign opportunities. I think Pratt has a chance. Hilton, no chance. Pratt, chance. So there's just some election coverage. But they're still counting, guys. They don't know how to count in California. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Now, by the way, this is interesting. You may have seen this. Trump did endorse Hilton, but in a very interesting way, you might say. And I think that Trump knew how to word this to maybe avoid a legal problem. He posted, "Vote today for Steve Hilton for governor. He will work with me and the federal government. The money will flow because I have confidence in him, but not any of the others. And we will make California great again. Steve Hilton will never let you down." Steve Hilton has already let me down, just like you. So when Trump says, "I'll never let you down," that means he's going to let you down, for those that haven't experienced it yet. So vote for Steve Hilton, and I'll give California more money. Isn't that how the Democrats campaign? Vote for us, and we'll give you money. How are we feeling about that one from Trump yesterday? Vote for Republicans, and we will give you more money. Very strong, very strong. Now, I think we have to be fair here. Trump is obviously talking about withholding money from California because of their policies like sanctuary cities, which I would support. But he's never done it. He's not going to do it. It's a giant bluff. But no, this is a vote for Hilton and we'll pay you. This is right out of the Democrat Party playbook, just with a different delivery mechanism. But it's the same force. It's the same energy. It's the same promise directionally. Vote for us, we'll give you money. So it's like, but it's even worse because we want President Trump to cut the funding from these corrupt states that have sanctuary cities. He won't do it, but then he'll come out and say, "Hey, go vote for Stephen Hilton, who celebrated internet censorship, and we'll give you money." Very nice. Very good stuff. Now, Iowa is going to be interesting. Iowa was already interesting because a Trump-endorsed candidate lost. So that whole argument of Trump is undefeated in the primaries, they can't say that anymore. But outside of that, Iowa could be a big problem. Iowa looks like a Senate seat that could flip. Iowa and Maine are going to be very interesting. And it's so the Maine situation is even crazier. Iowa will be a mostly clean race. And the fact that the Trump-backed candidate did not win last night is also an interesting spectacle when we get to the general. The Democrats are going to be spending a lot of money in Iowa. And my concern is, since the AIPAC Trump-backed candidate in Iowa did not win the primary, that the Republicans are going to sit Iowa out. Since the AIPAC candidate lost in the primary, the Republicans might just sit Iowa out. They might not do a bunch of fundraising campaigns to save the Senate seat in Iowa. They might just let the Democrats take that one since the Trump AIPAC candidate lost last night. So now Iowa gets even more interesting. And then you consider Maine. Maine is going to be just crazy. But yes, the Trump-backed, AIPAC-backed candidate, who was the incumbent even, lost in Iowa on the Republican side. So that's a story too. And then I could see the Republicans just saying, well, we're not going to fund Iowa anymore. AIPAC, they'll probably back the Democrat candidate now. And then Maine, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. The Democrats are so confused about what to do with Maine. And this is because Graham Plantner, he's completely turned on AIPAC. He's one of the most outspoken against AIPAC. And I guess he's got some, controversial tattoos. So, okay. Well, they're labeling these tattoos Nazi tattoos. He's got Nazi tattoos. All right. So the Democrats are trying to find a way around this. They're now spinning it. And they're saying, no, I'm not kidding you. No, Nazi tattoos are popular. Nazi tattoos are cool now. This is how we win Maine. All right. All right. So where are we? I'm telling you, get ready for Twilight Zone political ads in Maine. Now you're going to have Republican ads accusing Graham Plantner of being a Nazi. And you're going to have Democrat ads talking about how Graham Plantner is an American patriot and served in the military. And you're going to be like, wait, huh? What? So Plantner's a Republican, right? No. He's a Democrat. Wait, what? Yeah. The guy who is the military veteran with the Nazi tattoos. Yeah, that's a Democrat now. That's a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So that'll be fun. And he might win. He might just win. So, okay. There's 2 seats that I think look like they're going to flip for the Democrats in the Senate. Yikes. But let's move on to the other big issue that's going to affect the midterms and AI and data centers, where the Republicans just continue to land on the wrong side of this issue. And unfortunately, right now, they don't have a choice because they need the Trump GOP backing and endorsements and money to win the primary. Once they win their primary, they might decide to go a little sideways. Bernie Sanders continues to fuel the Democrat tank on this policy for the midterms. Bernie Sanders wants to give public 50% stake in AI companies. Now, if you're free market, obviously we all see the issue with this. So I'm not even, this isn't about me. I don't support this. This is just pure politics ahead of the midterms. So you have to, this is where political discussion, this is where political consumption, reaction of media tends to be misinterpreted. I'm not telling you Bernie Sanders is going to follow through with any of these promises. I'm not telling you I agree or disagree with anything the Democrats are doing right now in response to the data centers. I'm simply telling you this is a winning issue. Going against AI and data centers is a winning issue. Will the Democrats do anything with it? Probably not. Will it make a difference? I don't know. I'm not telling you that. Do I want to see AI companies merge with the public sector, with the government? No, I'm a free market guy. I'm just saying, do not underestimate the importance of this issue in the midterms. It could end up being the biggest issue. The 3 big issues, the economy, the Middle East, and AI data centers, Republicans are on the wrong side of every single one of those issues. Now, where are they going to move? Where are they going to move? Are they going to move on the economy? Well, there's nothing they can really do. All they can do is tell you how great the economy is. That doesn't change the reality for most Americans. The economy's not good. It's not good. So, okay, so they can't win on the economy. Not right now. Okay, Middle East foreign policy. Well, we've all seen the direction that goes. Let's just look at what happened with Thomas Massie. So the Republicans can't reverse course on foreign policy. In fact, the foreign policy issue is the dominant issue of Republican Party politics. You're not even allowed inside Republican Party politics unless you're pro-Israel, unless you want to prioritize Israel. And by the way, I am so sick of the people that are denying this as the reality. It's so obvious, it's ridiculous at this point. And it's not, what's so frustrating is that they all say it. The Jewish World Congress, the Republican Jewish Coalition, Marian Adelson, AIPAC, Trump, they all say this stuff. But then if you say it as a conservative commentator, somehow you're wrong and none of it exists. And we have multiple examples of this today. by the way. So, okay, the Republicans can't win on the economy. They can't win on more Middle East foreign policy. You can't even be a Republican unless you're pro-Israel and want to prioritize Israel. So they can't. So now they're down 2-0. So now they're down 2-0 on the biggest issues that are going to be the swing issues here in the midterms. So what's the other big swing issue? AI and data centers. Well, that's the entire domestic agenda of the Trump administration, is turning America into an AI surveillance state and a data center state. This is the entire domestic agenda of the Trump administration and the big tech lobby that runs it. So they can't do an about face on that. So the Republican Party is totally captured by the donor class, completely and totally captured by the donor class. And the donor class, in case you haven't figured this out, they really don't care who wins or loses elections, because at the end of the day, they're still the donor class. And they can buy a Republican or they can buy a Democrat. And they can buy the Republican or the Democrat before or after the election. So the donors really don't give a damn who wins in the election, because they always win when it comes to legislation. So the Republicans are completely captured by the donor class. And because of this, they have no issue to run and win on in the midterms. Now, you're still going to have people vote Republican because that's just what they do. You're still going to have red districts and blue districts that they just don't change. But in the swing races, in Iowa, in Maine, in some of these other districts, I don't know what you do if you're a Republican candidate right now, because you simply cannot run on the winning issues. You are on the wrong side of every single issue. And if you get into November and there's still a war with Iran and the economy still sucks and they keep pushing the AI data centers, the Trump administration and Republican Party politics will be so unpopular with the swing voters that do decide elections, not the Trump cult, not the far left progressives, it's the swing voters. They will be so fed up with this administration, it won't even matter anything about policy. They'll go out and vote Democrat just to spite Trump and the Republicans, just to spite this administration. They might even admit Democrats suck. They might even admit Democrats are corrupt, everything else. And they'll say, I am so fed up with Trump and this administration. I'm going to go vote Democrat as a spite vote. I'm going to go vote Democrat as a stick it to them vote. That's how this is going to go. But see, this is where the bias comes into play. This is where the right-wing bias, they're just totally in denial, like thinking Steve Hilton is going to win in California. Hey, you know what? Maybe he'd be good for the state of California. Good luck. If that happens, good for you. But it's like there's this bias here, and they think, oh, if Trump just says the economy is good, that's like abracadabra magic. It's good. If we just say America wants to be the AI data center dominant force in the world, people will just buy in. No, it's not how it works. Oh, let's just repeat the same propaganda about the Middle East that people have been hearing for 30 plus years and they're so sick of. Let's just keep repeating the same thing. Let's just keep doing the same wars for the same reasons with the same propaganda. Yeah, that'll work. No, it's not working. And at least half of the MAGA base was anti-war and against the Bush Middle East foreign policy. So there's your election coverage. There's your selection coverage, watching last night's results. And I see it. It's always different where you live, obviously. People just don't want to vote. Let's just be honest. People don't want to vote. And the only people that want to vote right now, the only people that are really motivated to vote right now are people on the left that hate Trump and people on the right that also hate Trump. So, everything else is just going to fall into place. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. So here's the situation with this 60 Minutes. And I think we did a pretty good job of this yesterday. I think we were a little ahead of the curve with this yesterday. We said he would get fired, and then it was like 30 minutes later he did. But we're getting a little we're getting their stories today. We're getting the stories, we're getting the excuses. Fired 60 Minutes star Scott Pelley accuses CBS of pushing falsehoods and bias. So here's how I think this is going to go. As Pelley and Weiss are exchanging words with the press, forming their narrative before the media blitz, the media tour really begins. CBS News fires Scott Pelley. Former CBS Evening News anchor was ousted after months of tension between staff and Barry Weiss. Scott Pelley says Barry Weiss lied. There was no effort to find a way back in the pre-firing meeting. The terminated correspondent shot back at the CBS News editor-in-chief's assertion that the outcome was the path he chose. That is what Barry Weiss told the New York Times in their special on her. And now, of course, you have the aftermath, the aftershock, if you will. Will Leslie Stahl and or Bill Whitaker exit 60 Minutes after Scott Pelley's firing? Everyone at CBS wants to know. So for people that are paying attention, it's obvious what's going on. And it kind of reaches a redundancy factor, but let's just lay it out briefly. Remember who gave the first speech from the White House after Trump's election? It was Larry Ellison. You may recall the night of Trump's inauguration, Trump was at the, I don't know what the arena is there, where they did the inauguration ceremonies. Outside of the White House was Larry Ellison. So it was kind of this weird thing. It was like, is Larry Ellison the president? That was weird. He wasn't really too vocal in the campaign or even leading up to any of Trump's election cycles. And then all of a sudden, here's Larry Ellison at the White House before Trump. So then Ellison gets control of TikTok. Then Ellison gets control of Paramount, which gets control of CNN and gets control of CBS. Ellison himself is the top donor to the IDF. So obviously a very strong supporter of Israel. And of course, Ellison and his son are heavily invested in data and data centers. And their company is called, of course, Oracle, one of their companies. So all of this happens like right out of the gates of the Trump administration. Right out of the gates with Ellison. So Ellison brings in Barry Weiss, who gets postured as a former liberal, now centrist, MAGA-curious journalist from the New York Times into the free media. And then, of course, she's pro-Israel. And then she gets brought in by the Ellisons to run CBS and 60 Minutes. Now, Weiss probably is not pro-Trump, but Weiss is now part of the Trump-Israel syndicate that has its tentacles now more in the media than it's ever had and in the White House. So Barry Weiss might not like Trump, but she works for the same system. She works for the same umbrella network of the Israel-Trump syndicate. So she has to be working for that, for those reasons at CBS. And then you have CBS, Scott Pelley and the like. They're anti-Trump. Their bias is against Trump. Their hubris, their arrogance makes them want to, like, they've got like this chip on their shoulder where it's like they want to destroy Trump. They want to show Trump. So really there's nobody even good in the picture when it comes to this. So it's a bunch of it's the egos of the 60 Minutes news team that have always had creative control. And if they want to go after Trump, they can. Now Barry Weiss has taken over, and the direction of 60 Minutes is, hey, we're pro-Israel, we're pro-Trump. That's what we do. And if you don't like it, get out. And so Pelley said, okay, I'm out. And now the rest of them will have to decide. Now, here's actually the biggest truth about all of this, aside from what I just said, which I think is the obvious truth. This is just the Trump-Israel syndicate and its tentacles, part of the network here, expanding their influence over the American mind, over the American media, over American politics. So that's kind of the obvious thing that we're witnessing here. But here's what doesn't get talked about, specifically when it comes to the CBS 60 Minutes story. Nobody cares about 60 Minutes. The whole thing is media-driven hype. 60 Minutes is mostly completely irrelevant now. 60 Minutes is not what it was 10 years ago, not what it was 20 years ago. The peak of 60 Minutes was when 80% of American houses were sitting at home on a Sunday evening, and when the CBS NFL Game of the Week finishes, it immediately you go to the stopwatch clicking. That's when CBS was at its peak. Now, people watch football games on many different networks. CBS's Game of the Week isn't always guaranteed to be at the late afternoon window or even have a game on the local network. People don't even watch network news anymore. They don't even watch cable news. They're going online. They're going on social media. They've got all these different options. So at the end of the day, the whole story is almost irrelevant. Most people don't care about the fate of Scott Pelley. Most people are indifferent about Barry Weiss's editorial control over 60 Minutes. So the real story is it's the Israel-Trump syndicate that is remaking CBS's news division to be pro-Trump and pro-Israel. And then really with all the Pelley 60 Minutes hype, it's that none of it really matters. The relevance, the impact of 60 Minutes is on its dying days. It's on its last legs. And maybe Pelley realized this and said, hey, I can have a bigger impact making this story than I can being on 60 Minutes for another 10 years. I could be on 60 Minutes for another 10 years and it would be like a nothing. If I go out with a blaze here and start pointing the finger at Barry Weiss with what she's doing, that kind of gives me a little bit of a jolt and makes me more relevant than 60 Minutes. And that's been the case. So now Stahl, now the rest of them might be asking themselves the same questions. Now the rest of them might be saying, is it time for me to go? This ship has sailed. We can't do what we want here anymore. Maybe we should just go and make this a story. So, okay, now this is good, where it's going to be kind of fun. Let's see where Pelley decides to go make his big first statement. And it doesn't even, again, Pelley, whether you believe him or not, doesn't even matter. It's going to be more fun than anything to me. But Pelley, wherever Pelley goes next to make his statement, it's going to be the left is going to push it, and they're going to make it how, Trump is basically controlling the broadcast airwaves now. And whether any of it are true or not, whether any of it is true or not, doesn't even matter. But they will believe it. And it will not be a good look for Trump. And I think that the big mismeasurement from both the left and the right that is starting to recalibrate, for years, the left was the boy that cried wolf about the Trump corruption. Well, now the Trump corruption is actually real, but it's still not landing because they've been the boy that cried wolf. So people are still not listening to the left-wing media because they've proven themselves to be fake news. They've proven themselves to be liars. They've proven themselves to be biased. And so people really don't care. They scream Trump corruption. People will just say, you've been saying that for 10 years. Please stop it. But now the system is starting to recalibrate. And now that you have a major fraction from MAGA that is totally broken off and is anti-Trump, now that you have actual stories of real corruption in the Trump administration, it's starting to recalibrate. It's starting to catch tread. Now, the Trump White House is kind of under the assumption that you're always going to treat the left-wing media as fake news, the boy that cried wolf. But I think they're underestimating the recalibration here as well. So that's why I say, wherever Pelley goes next, and however they want to frame it, it is going to be a Trump hit job, because they will 100% turn this into some sort of a scripted presentation with an agenda, and it's going to get big views, and it's going to continue that recalibration. I assume they're going to make it about Trump. Pelley might end up making it more about Weiss and the things she's doing to control the narrative over there. But wherever he goes, they're going to want to make it about Trump. And don't underestimate the impact of this. Don't underestimate the impact of it. So who's going to be, if they all leave, 60 Minutes, who are they going to bring in? We're going to have, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and Cat Turd. With the we're going into the litter box with Cat Turd. 60 Minutes in the litter box with Cat Turd. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin. Who else do we have? Laura Loomer. Oh, yeah, that's good. That is going to be your new 60 Minutes squad. Yeah. And Mark Levin. I'm Mark Levin. That's good. They should just hire me. I'll do propaganda better than they would. Speaking of Mark Levin, so this is hilarious. We mentioned this yesterday. Well, it was kind of a developing story all week. Did Trump curse Netanyahu out? All of this stuff. So, okay, we all remember the Axios story. Oh, Trump White House source says Trump was cursing out Netanyahu. Well, we've heard it before. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know. Well, Levin jumps to the conclusion that it's all fake. And he's demanding the journalist be fired. He wants investigations, the DOJ, the FBI involved. He's calling him a criminal, basically wanting him arrested. He goes on this massive rant. And then, of course, it always ends up and he wants more people killed. In fact, if you read this sentence, if you want to know the truth about Mark Levin, if you want to know the truth about, because I want to be as fair and accurate as possible. I really do. And with the Israel sensitivity, it's one of the toughest subjects to be accurate on. But it's like you have to hit the bullseye with it every time, or somebody's going to be pissed off. So it's like you can never miss. You can never miss when you're covering this. Because this is a big issue. This is a serious news story. So I don't even know what, Zionist is kind of the most accurate phrase to use when describing Mark Levin or Ben Shapiro or Benjamin Netanyahu. But even that's not even fair. There's Zionists that aren't evil people. There's Zionists that aren't blood-drenched, psychotic warmongers. So even Zionist is not the fair. It's not the fair description for a Levin here. But if you want to know who Mark Levin really is, if you want to know the true policies of the Mark Levins of the world, this sentence alone is all you need to hear. Israel must be free to destroy. That's it. That's their real policy. So you can call that whatever you want. I don't really care. Call it Zionist, call it Israeli, call it Jewish, call it warmonger, call it neocon. I really don't give a damn what you call it. We all know what the results are. We all know who they are, and we all know what the results of their policies are. But if you want to know if you want their policy condensed into one sentence from Mark Levin, this is it. Israel must be free to destroy. That's it. That's what he wrote. That's what he means. That's what everything is about. And this is also why they play these mind games, and they want to merge Israel and all Jews, because they want to have the policy that Israel can destroy anything at once, but therefore that also means that Jewish people are at the top of the totem pole because they have the monopoly on death and destruction. So that's what this is really about. Mark Levin, the Zionist, the Netanyahu regime, they want a monopoly on death and destruction. They want to be the judge, jury, and executioner for the entire world on death and destruction. And so that's why when you see Levin, this is the true policy. Israel must be free to destroy. That's it. That's what they believe. Now, on the Levin issue, so he says it's made up and that the journalist is a criminal that needs to be investigated. And then Trump comes out and confirms it. Trump confirms he told Netanyahu he's effing crazy. So this is Levin that is an advisor to Trump. This is Levin, a psychotic, warmongering, neocon, never-Trumper freak who demanded an investigation into a journalist for lying, as he claims. And then Trump confirms that the journalist's story was right. So when does Levin have to own up to his actions? When does Levin have to be held accountable for his words? Oh, no. Oh, no. Because as it was described, Israel needs to be free to destroy. Or if you want to translate to the philosophy of Mark Levin should be allowed to destroy. Mark Levin should be allowed to lie and deceive and manipulate and propagandize and have foreign loyalties because he's Mark Levin and that's his policy. So when he lies about a reporter and he demands that the DOJ and the FBI investigate a reporter, but then Donald Trump comes out and confirms the reporter's story, well, where does that put Mark Levin? It should bury him. That should be the end of Mark Levin in politics. That should be the end of Mark Levin's talk show. That should be the end of Mark Levin involved in the Trump administration. And yet somehow, some way, for some reason, it won't be.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, guys, it's summertime. So you might be planning a trip to the beach. You might be planning a trip to the lake. Maybe you're going to be traveling and you're thinking you need a new bag. You need a new backpack to take with you on the airplane. Maybe you need a new concealed carry for when you're going around. A fanny pack. Can you say that, though? Politically correct? I don't know. They say crossbody now. Or if you're going to the beach or lake, maybe a dry bag to keep your stuff dry. You need to go to slnt.com/Owen. That's slnt.com/Owen. That's silent bags. And here's why. Not only are they sleek and efficient, but they also come with military-grade technology. They're called silent because they keep you silent. These Faraday bags, not only sleek, not only efficient, but they block all the apps on your phone, computer, tablet, whatever it is you're carrying around with you. They block them from tracking and tracing you. So what do you do if you don't want the government spying on you while you're traveling around? Well, you got to put your phone in a Faraday bag. So now you've got yourself a nice bag that also doubles as a Faraday bag. And not only that, but what about the harmful radio waves that come off of your laptops and tablets and cell phones? It also blocks that. It blocks the harmful radio waves. Especially, you might be carrying around one of these fanny packs, one of these crossbodies. You put it right there. It's right around the boys. You don't want to be blasting those with the cell phone waves. Don't do it. You don't have to worry about that with silent signal blocking Faraday bags. Go to slnt.com/Owen. Check out their entire collection. And for my listening audience, Save 15% plus free shipping on qualifying orders. You heard that right. Free shipping and 15% off qualifying orders at slnt.com/Owen.
Political light years ahead of the rest. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, I think I addressed this. I can't remember if it was I did 3 shows yesterday. So sometimes when you do more than one show, stuff kind of gets blurred. So I don't remember if I said this with David Pollock, Jake Shields, or on my show yesterday. But we were talking about the weaponization fund, which I guess now is officially shut down. And I said, you have to ask 3 questions. Was the 2020 election stolen? I think MAGA still agrees yes. I haven't heard MAGA change their opinion on this. I haven't heard Trump change his opinion on this. So that's, MAGA is just a cult of Trump. So whatever Trump says, they believe. So MAGA still believes that the 2020 election was stolen. MAGA still believes that the Biden administration weaponized the government against its political opposition, specifically, but not limited to, Donald Trump. And I believe MAGA still agrees that the Biden administration's weaponization of the government ended up in political imprisonment. Political imprisonment. So the Biden administration put its political opposition in prison. So we all agree with these 3 things. So then the only question that remains is, should there not be arrests? Should there not be accountability? Should there not be justice? So I don't know how you could agree with those 3 prerequisites and then say, nope, no arrests, no accountability, no justice. Of course, that doesn't make sense. And yet, this is where MAGA is at today. So Trump gets asked this question directly from Miranda Devine. Now, I'm going to leave my commentary until after this clip, but this is interesting to say the least. This is exactly what I was addressing yesterday. Trump now asked that question by Miranda Devine.
There's a lot of problems inside.
Look, we had a rigged election. We can't have a rigged election.
No.
We can be nice about it. We can be politically correct. Or, I don't want to say. I used to say that a year and a half ago, the election was rigged and the cameras would literally turn off.
Yeah.
And the anchor would say, sir, you're not allowed to say that, Now nobody ever turns off the camera because it's been proven to be rigged. Look at what happened in Georgia. Look at all the stuff that we found out. It was a rigged election. Biden lost in a landslide.
Yeah.
And it's, to think that this could happen. Now, because of that, we have Russia, Ukraine. That would have never happened with me. Because of that, we had open border with 25 million, in many cases, criminal, not all.
And fentanyl deaths.
Everything.
Yeah.
He was a worse president. And we were laughed at all over the world as a country. We're not laughed at anymore. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
So
we have
how
the most
do we,
successful country anywhere.
So someone has to be punished, though, for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I don't
have
want
to punish them all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it. But
are you confident something will happen?
I don't want to talk about it. But let's see what happens.
It goes on a little bit longer, but I think we need to hear that again. Okay, so again, stolen election, all of the consequences, political persecution, political imprisonment. Trump gets into the foreign policy disaster of Russia, Ukraine. That's cost us $300 billion. So it's okay. We're on pace here. It's like, all right, we're moving in the right direction here. And then she asks the ultimate question. What's being done?
Country anywhere.
So someone has to be punished, though, for that.
And then listen to Trump's answer. Folks, this is so key. I'm sorry to be repetitive, but repetition is the mother of learning. We just laid out all the crimes. We just laid out the treason. That's what we did here. President Trump agrees people committed treason against our country. That's what it is. So Miranda Devine asks the obvious follow-up. What is being done?
Someone has to be punished, though, for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I don't want to
punish them all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it. But
Are you confident something will happen?
I don't want to talk about it. But
Yeah.
let's see what happens. The election was rigged. We know who rigged the election. We know it. We know everything now. We have information that nobody thought was possible. But when you get to office, all of a sudden people start giving you things. It was I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election. That was a lot. There's a lot of rigging going on there too. Because you know what? I won in a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it. In other words, rigged against me.
So Trump just completely avoided the question. That's what he did, folks. He avoided the accountability question. And this is where this is what MAGA is trying to avoid more than anything, because this is their Achilles heel right here.
Anywhere.
So someone has to be punished, though, for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I don't
have to punish them all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it, but
are you confident something will happen?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. You don't want to talk about it, do you? You don't want to talk about it. You don't seem to want to do anything about it either. And that's the problem. And that's why the whole thing feels fake. And that's why we all feel betrayed and disenfranchised. Now, before I go on a crash out rant here, before I do a crash out rant, let me just pause. The whatever is left of the QAnon community, when they hear Trump say this, let's wait and see, that's like their cue, no pun intended, but that's like their signal of, oh, Trump has the Q intel, and this proves that Q is real, and this is him nodding and signaling to us that there is stuff going on in the background. He just can't talk about it, so wait and see. That's the QAnon special on this. And I want to be totally clear here. This is not me dunking on Q people, because, quite frankly, Q people make more sense than MAGA people. MAGA people make no sense now. At least the Q people have some sort of a glue of logic where they believe that there's a secret plan happening. There is no glue of logical consistency when it comes to MAGA. At least the Q people have a logical consistency that, hey, this is all leading to some bigger scheme. Whether you believe that or not, it's not the point. At least there's a logical consistency. MAGA has no logical consistency, because MAGA is only consistent in, I do whatever Trump tells me to do. But so they're saying, the QAnon community is saying, that's Trump signaling, Q is real, stuff is going on in the background, he just can't talk about it. So that's what they believe. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And the main reason why I can't put any faith in that is not even the obvious one, which is I've never seen the plan. The whole plan truster. Well, I don't know. What is the plan? I've never seen the plan. So don't tell me about some plan. I've never seen it. And don't tell me about some QAnon plan, because how many times has the QAnon plan been wrong? Like every time? So I'm not going there. Every time Trump wants to avoid the big issues, that's what he does. Says, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Wait and see. Every single time. That's how Trump plays it off. And his cult-like following, they just eat it up. They believe it. No, that's the big question. Miranda Devine just asked the big question. Now, Miranda is obviously friendly with Trump, and she gets the exclusive access to start this new podcast. So she decides she's not going to press him on the most important issue, probably of the entire administration. Maybe the biggest question of the MAGA movement. And Trump balks and says, no, thank you. And Miranda just lets him do it. Fine, whatever. But she asks the big question. She sets Trump up perfectly. It's almost like she's listening to me. She sets Trump up perfectly, exactly how I phrase it with MAGA. I say, so the election was stolen. Here's everything that happened with the stolen election. This is all criminal activity, right? Yes, we all agree. Okay, what's being done? Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Maybe you'll see. I don't know. I don't want to talk. I don't want to get into that. You'll see. Maybe you'll see. Maybe something. Trump does this every single time. I have been watching Trump do this to avoid real questions for how long now? 10 years? And what we saw in the first administration was Sean Hannity. The queue was still hot. And then Sean Hannity was like the closer to be like, oh my gosh, when is Trump going to drain the swamp? When is Trump going to arrest Hillary Clinton? When is Trump going to go after the Democrats for Spygate and everything else? And then it was Sean Hannity like, indictments are coming. Tick tock, tick tock. Indictments are coming. QAnon, trust the plan, trust the plan. No indictments, no plan, no arrests, no Guantanamo Bay, nothing, zero, nada. And here goes Trump again. The ultimate question, what are you doing about the deep state criminals? I don't want to talk about it. Maybe you'll see. Maybe you'll see. To me, that translates to nothing. That's what it translates to me. When Miranda Devine asks Trump the most important question of his political career, when Miranda Devine asked Trump the most important question of any Trump administration at any time, he refuses to answer. And MAGA won't even think twice. They won't even think twice. So my translation is Miranda Devine asks Trump, the people that committed treason against this country, will they be arrested? Trump says, no. And I don't want to talk about it. That's my translation. That's my interpretation. And I guess the only thing that we'll see is, am I right or wrong? I want to be wrong. Nothing, I would never be more happy to be wrong. And yet, here we are, almost to the halfway point of Trump's second administration, and it's the same question, and it's the same answer, and it's the same results. Nothing. Nothing. And to me, that moment says the entire story. There is no plan. There are no deep state arrests. They're not going to do anything about a stolen election. I hope I'm wrong. But see, now, and this again, this is why this is MAGA's Achilles heel. This is the gaping hole in the entire philosophy of MAGA. If you do not have deep state arrests, if you do not punish the people that MAGA agrees committed treason, if you do not hold them accountable, and if they are not punished, then there is no MAGA. There never was any MAGA. It never existed. It was just another political propaganda operation to trick you into thinking that you were part of saving the country, and you just got grifted off of and rug pulled into supporting a foreign and special interest administration that just robbed your country blind more so than anything else you've ever seen in your life. And you're sitting here with your hat on and your thumb up your butt because Trump told you to. And this is the gaping hole. And this is the Achilles heel. So we all agree people committed treason. Trump said they committed treason. We all agree they committed treason. And if there are no arrests, then there was never MAGA. There was never draining the swamp. None of it ever existed, folks. It was all fake. And then what do you do? I'm genuinely curious. What do you do if you're MAGA and Trump leaves office and there are no deep state arrests? What do you do? And all you got was another war in the Middle East. And all you got was more inflation, more money printing, more debt, more interest, more foreigners. What do you do now if you're MAGA? What do you do now? But they haven't figured it out. They can't even think about it. They're so deep into the Trump cult that they can't even fathom a world without Trump. They literally can't even process it. But there it is. Miranda Devine asks the only question that matters, and Trump says, I'm not interested. I think that pretty much says it all. Well, at least half the story. I guess this is the other half of it all. Congress quietly moves to integrate U.S. and Israeli militaries. Oh, yeah. In the first step towards shifting aid further into the shadows, the House's 2027 NDAA would all but fuse the two countries' armed forces together. So all of those talks that you heard about, Israel wants to separate from the U.S., Israel wants to be independent from the U.S., this is our goal, this is our agenda, a big, fat, stinking lie. They just wanted to re-legislate it and merge the two militaries so that they can basically act as one. And now Israel doesn't need the U.S. to cut them a check. Israel's in the bank account. This is like you've got a girlfriend that you're dating and you take her out to dinner and you buy her nice things, but that's your card. That's your bank account. You still have agency over the decisions that get made here. No, what they're doing now is now that girlfriend, now she's got your card. Now it's her bank account too. Now it's a joint bank account. So yeah, Israel doesn't need foreign aid checks anymore. They're now going to own our bank account. They're now getting our bank account. They now have our card connected to our bank account. So it was all a lie. It was all a lie. Just like everything else that comes out of Israel and the Israeli foreign lobbyists. It's all a lie. I mean, how insane is it? Here's this MAGA, America First, Patriot movement. And then it's just like somebody waves a wand and they say, okay, you guys are all now Israel first. They say, of course, that's MAGA. That's what MAGA was always about. That's what America First was always about. It was always about Israel. That's my biblical duty. That's my political duty. And that's what God wants me to do. It's like, wait, what? What happened here? I thought this was America First, MAGA, America, political revolution, saving the country. And then somebody waved a wand and said, oy vey, and now it's all about Israel. And then they just accept it. And they say, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. U.S. measure to deepen Israel military Israel military ties faces bipartisan pushback. Of course, it's Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. They're going to try to remove this from the defense bill. My guess is, so Congress is in a pinch now. Well, actually, the Trump administration, the Israeli lobby, is more in a pinch because they are likely against the numbers right now. So the Israeli lobby they got the text that they wanted. They got it written, the merger here, total conquering of the American legislative process, total conquering of America with the Israeli lobby here. So it's like, okay, they got it written into the bill. Like they got their next level of, hey, we're now in your bank account. Hey, we don't need you to cut us checks anymore. You're welcome. Actually, no, your bank account is ours. So they got what they wanted in the bill. But now they're looking at it and they probably don't have the votes. They probably don't have the votes. So what do? They can try to fight the uphill battle to get the votes to pass this and get one step closer to the total and complete occupation and conquering of our country. But they risk exposing themselves more, and they risk losing whatever approval and support they have left. And you might say, oh, they don't care about that. They have such political dominance over the process that they don't care about that. No, I think in this instance they do. I think in this instance they do because this is such a big play. If it was a normal, just normal politics and policy, then maybe they wouldn't care as much. No, this is the next big step in Israel, conquering and occupying our country. So they can't swing and miss on this. They want that access to our bank account. They're sick of having to ask for permission for money. They just want our money. They just want to claim it as theirs, and this is the bill to do it. So do they exert themselves and try to get this thing passed and do the uphill battle with the votes they don't have, or do they wait until the next Congress and figure the next Congress will be more favorable? Well, that's also a risk that they probably can't afford to take, because it's more likely that the next Congress is going to be more anti-Israel than the current Congress. Uh-oh. So where does that put us? That puts us at false flag territory. That puts us at expanding the war territory. That puts us at do anything that needs to be done so that we can get the votes and pass this bill that further encompasses and proves Israel's occupation and conquering of our country. So that's the debate that they're having behind the scenes. But they don't have the votes right now. Ro Khanna vows amendment to kill insidious effort to deepen military ties between U.S. and Israel. One analyst noted that Section 224 of the NDAA would provide a higher level of military industrial integration than the U.S. has with any other country in the world. Imagine people still sitting here pretending like Israel doesn't have more influence over our government than you do. It's just ridiculous that people don't want to live in this reality with us. But I get it. They're scared. They're in denial. It's fine. House Armed Services Chair rejects claims NDAA provision would put Israel in command of U.S. military. No, it just gives them equal footing. It just gives them, they get our bank account now. So we no longer have agency over the bank account. They get in there. It's theirs. And I mean, do they really need to assert any more dominance and command over our military? Our military has been used for Israel's interests for the last 30 years, in case you haven't noticed. In case you haven't figured that deal out. And the spin is, oh, it's a tech integration. It's a U.S.-Israel defense tech integration. Well, they've already made that claim. That's already what they've claimed the current deal is, oh, we're just, it's tech integration and testing, all this stuff. So that's really their old excuse. No, this is Israel legislating itself into our military. I mean, and that's what it is. Asserting their dominance over our military even further. And they need to do it legislatively right now because they're losing the American people. U.S. bill will fuse Israel and U.S. militaries into one. Well, I guess if there's any good news, it's that Israel is actually going to start, I guess, maybe fighting with us. I mean, maybe Israel's military will have to actually go and fight with us instead of just our troops going over and fighting. But no, that probably won't be the case. And by the way, Netanyahu is bragging that this was his idea. In his official letter, he says right here, his plan. I was glad to receive proposed congressional resolution endorsing my plan to shift the framework for U.S.-Israel defense cooperation from aid to partnership. There it is. So it was all a lie. We want to get rid of all the aid. We don't want the aid. Now we just want your bank account. What a lie. It's all a big lie. Bibi Netanyahu is a liar. And I can't believe the American people sit here and take it like a bunch of chumps, like a bunch of pathetic cucks. This monster, this lying, blood-drenched monster, his plan to marry America to Israel so that he can take control over the purse. That's what it is, folks. This is going into full marriage mode, and we don't have a prenup. And we don't have a prenup. It's going to increase intelligence sharing. That means Israel will have full access to our military, all of our tech, all of our information, all of our intelligence. And then there is no cooperation. They're equal partners. So the analogy is this. You got a girlfriend, you take her out to dinner, you buy her nice things, but you still have the card and it's still your bank account. So she relies on you for those nice things and those nice dinners. This new deal is marriage, and we don't have a prenup. This new deal is now it's a joint bank account, and she gets a debit card. She doesn't need your ass anymore. She can take your debit card wherever she wants, whenever she wants, and buy whatever she wants, and there is nothing you can do about it. So that's what this is. Israel is a succubus. Israel is the international succubus. Its current host is the United States of America. And the ceasefire, guys, the ceasefire. Not good. Kuwait's airport attacked as fresh Iran-U.S. strikes strain ceasefire. It's hard to get the truth here, guys. It's hard to understand what's really going on. There's reports that U.S. military bases are being attacked. Why else would Kuwait be firing? Why else would Kuwait be getting attacked? Iran is saying, well, we're just firing at the countries where the weapons are coming from. And we all know Israel has secret weapons stashes inside of these countries. We know they had it in Iran. We know they had it in Syria. Maybe they have it in Lebanon. Wouldn't surprise anybody. They're deep into Lebanon now, killing people, taking land. But I love how it's, the bombs keep dropping. How does this impact the ceasefire? There is no ceasefire. What are you talking about? Now, Netanyahu, this is why it's so frustrating. This is why it's so frustrating with this propaganda that they run the same playbook. Oh, evil Muslim has a big bomb, so you need to go fight and die for Israel's interest. And they just run the same playbook, and we keep doing it. We keep running into the Middle East and fighting and dying for Israel's interest. And it doesn't matter how much they lie. It doesn't matter how much they steal. It doesn't matter how much they kill and destroy. And so here's Netanyahu. By the way, Netanyahu gets in front of Trump today. Netanyahu goes on CNBC first thing in the morning to get ahead of the news cycle with Trump today. So that I think gives you an idea of where those two are at. I'm sorry. You have to ask. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, Netanyahu. I mean, Trump is Netanyahu's bitch. Why? Why is that? What other conclusion can you reach except Epstein files? I'm just curious. It's like, what other? Every time Trump hesitates on Iran, there's new Epstein file stories. They're all panicked over the Epstein files. I just don't get it. Trump says, Bibi, don't go into the Golan Heights. They go into the Golan Heights. Trump says the West Bank is off limit. They go into the West Bank. Trump says, stop attacking Lebanon. They bomb Lebanon. Why is Trump such a cuck for Bibi Netanyahu? Man, it's like I'm cheering in that regard. I'm cheering for Trump so much. It's like I'm cheering for Trump so much here as the underdog, as the American patriot. It's like Trump is the slave. It's like I'm cheering Trump. Free yourself, Trump. Free yourself from the Israeli lobby. Free yourself from Netanyahu. Stop letting this guy punk you. You're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing our entire country by letting this war criminal who's wanted for war crimes in half the countries of the planet, and he's running around here acting like you're his bitch. Please, President Trump, please don't go out like this. For the country's sake, for your family's sake, for your sake, don't go out as Netanyahu's bitch. Don't go out as the American cuck that lets Netanyahu bang the country and we have to watch. Please, please, Mr. President, I'm cheering for you. Break us free of these people. Break us free of this monster. Make Israel own up to the things it's done to the world for the last however many years you want to name. Make Israel actually have some accountability for its actions with the world. And then maybe you can focus on accountability for the people that have committed treason against our own country. Just an idea. Just a little friendly free advice here for you, Mr. President. But so here's Netanyahu on CNBC this morning, getting ahead of the news cycle, trying to control the narrative against Trump. And listen to what he says in the interview. So remember, last year, almost a year ago today, we destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities. That was the story. That was Trump's pitch. That was Operation Midnight Hammer. We destroyed it. They're done. Not happening. And now Netanyahu is on CNBC this morning saying Iran is going to nuke the entire United States. Every city, he says. Listen.
We want to make sure that Iran doesn't pose a threat to Israel, to the Middle East, to America, that it doesn't develop nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them, not only to Israel and to every capital in Europe, but to every city in the United States.
So here's Netanyahu going on CNBC this morning, and he says Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon that can strike every city in the United States of America. So just so you can get a grasp on the current reality, Netanyahu is holding the United States of America hostage with Iranian nukes that don't exist. Benjamin Netanyahu is holding our country hostage with Iranian nuclear weapons that do not exist. Now, obviously, that doesn't make any sense. So then what is really happening? Well, it's far more likely that Israel is holding the world hostage with nuclear weapons. It's far more likely that Israel is striking to nuke the planet and not Iran. That is far more likely. And it's not even close. The odds of Iran nuking the world are zero. Okay? Zero. That are the odds. 0% chance. There is a 0% chance that Iran is going to nuke the planet. That is a 0% chance. The percentages, the odds of Israel nuking the planet, well, I don't know, but it's higher than zero. I can tell you that. The odds of Israel nuking the planet are higher than the odds of Iran nuking the planet. And when Netanyahu is on American media, a wanted war criminal, an international war criminal, the most wanted man in the world, hundreds of thousands of innocent people killed under his leadership. He's been lying to you. He's been lying to the American people for 40 years, Netanyahu. This man is a monster to the American people. Netanyahu has done more to damage the United States of America than maybe any world leader ever in the history of the world. In fact, I would challenge somebody to show me what world leader has done more damage to the United States of America than Bibi Netanyahu. And by the way, if you're going to sit here and say, well, you know, Iran killed these American troops and this Muslim country killed the American troops. Okay, why were we in the Middle East? So if your immediate response is these Muslim countries killed American troops, well, then guess what? That logic only leads you back to Netanyahu lying to us to put our troops in the Middle East that got them killed. So if that's your response, congratulations, you just proved my point. So here he is, the most wanted war criminal in the world, a man who has done more damage to the United States of America than maybe any man in the history of the world, a man who has been lying to our people, our country, our Congress for 40 years. And he has the nerve to go first thing in the morning on American media to beat Trump in the news cycle. And he has the nerve to go on air and say Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon that can strike every United States city. And Bibi Netanyahu, through the American media, wants to hold our country hostage with Iranian nukes that don't even exist. So who really has the nukes? Who really has the power? Who's really holding America hostage? You know what's funny? Trump is like trapped in the middle of all of this, which he did to himself, but he's trapped in the middle of all of this. And so you kind of see it's like when he wants to deal with Iran, or maybe you might even say the Muslims, it's like, how does Trump deal with the Muslim leadership? Whenever Trump wants to deal with the Muslim leadership, what does he do? He threatens to attack. He threatens to bomb. It's like that's the language. That's how you have to threat the Muslim leadership is we're going to bomb you. How does Trump threaten the Israeli leadership? How does Trump threaten the Jewish leadership? You know how he does that? He says, I'm going to talk to other people. I'm going to talk. You guys better watch out. I might talk to somebody. I'm going to talk to other people. That's how it goes. And it's funny because you can see this expressed repeatedly on how Trump is handling all of this stuff. So it's Iran, we're going to nuke you, you know, we're going to destroy your civilization. It's Israel, hey, I'm going to talk to Iran without you. Hey, I'm going to have peace talks without you. I mean, I don't even know how to interpret that. Muslims fear bombs, Jews fear talking. I don't know. But that's what it is. So that's what Trump does here. We go back to the interview with Miranda Devine, and she asked about, hey, are you talking to the new leadership in Iran? And here's what he said.
So who's making the decisions?
Well, they say he is giving approval because that's the way it has been for a long, long time. His father and then him, I guess it's a succession. But we seem to be getting along quite well.
Would you like to meet him or meet any of the Iranians in person?
I've never thought of it, actually. It's a very good question. I'll think of it. Yeah, I'd like to meet him. I like to meet everybody. I'd like to meet him. We probably will meet at some point, depending on how it all works out.
Now, you have to understand, this is great. That's a threat to Netanyahu. Like, that's Trump threatening Netanyahu. He's like, hey, I'm going to talk to Iran. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to establish peace. I'm going to talk to the Iranian leadership. We're going to get a peace deal done. It's like, that's how you threaten Netanyahu. It's like, no, don't talk to them. No, don't talk to them. No, you can't talk. No. When he wants to threaten Iran, it's, I'm going to bomb you back to the Stone Ages. But it's like that. That's how it goes here. Why wouldn't Trump be talking to them? I mean, Trump says, oh, I haven't talked to them. I haven't thought about talking to them. Well, what are we doing here? Like, what are we even doing? Lindsey Graham. I can't believe it. I'm going to agree with Lindsey Graham all of a sudden. This is Lindsey trying to save his election, maybe. Lindsey, ladyboy, is upset because Todd Blanche is shutting down the weaponization fund. And so Graham is calling this out. He wants to, as he says, he is proposing that we create a weaponization fund that will be available to those who can prove their claim against the federal government through the Federal Tort Claims Act. We have a legal system already in place for people that make claims against the government. That does not need to be reinvented. However, it is imperative that we allow people with the meritorious weaponization claims to come forward and receive compensation through this fund. We have to recognize there was a wrong that must be made right if you can prove your claim through the existing process. So this is Lindsey Graham, trying to save some grace within MAGA. I think there's an issue here. Hold on a second. Because obviously I've had to go through all of this. What's going to be, it's not a bad idea with the tort claim. The problem is in the tort system, it's bias because so many of these defendants took a plea deal because they were facing 20 years in jail, like myself. And when you take a plea deal, that kind of hurts you in any follow-up defense or litigation, appeals, tort, whatever. This stuff comes back to haunt you because the federal government will say, oh, well, you pled guilty. So they kind of use that against you. And this is part of the problem with the justice system. And this is why Tina Peters is talking about justice reform. I'm totally with you. But that's what they do. They drastically overcharge. So somebody like me, I'm facing 20 years in federal prison for walking on grass in Washington, D.C. That's my crime. And I'm now facing 20 years in prison. And they say, hey, you want to go to prison for 20 years? Or do you want to take a plea deal? And they told me they wouldn't send me to prison. That was a lie. But either way, take a plea deal, get 2 months. And then you come back and you try to file tort, and they'll say, well, now hold on. You pled guilty. So it's not a bad idea, but I think it's Lindsey Graham trying to save some face with MAGA. And, but he's right about this is a big letdown, the weaponization fund not going all the way. He is right about that. But Mark Lynch for South Carolina. Update here in the Tyler Robinson trial. Judge rules media allowed access in preliminary hearing for Tyler Robinson. There's a lot of developments between the prosecutors and the defense, a lot of back and forth. This thing is already very contested. One of the big contests was on the media. The media is going to be let in. I think we can all agree that's a good idea. We shall see. Now, what was interesting, while the judge was running down all of this and reaching the conclusions about contempt and media and everything else, the judge said something very interesting. He basically, I don't have the exact quote, but he basically asserted that there is no new evidence. The judge essentially said, because he's dealing with all kinds of other issues, the media, contempt, what's being said outside of the court, it's obviously a high-profile case. And he made a statement, and he said something along the lines of, since all the evidence has already been seen, basically insinuating that there's no new evidence in this case. No new evidence. That was interesting to me. Because if there's no new evidence in this case, folks, yikes. Yikes. Now, I think a lot of people are anxiously awaiting the trial. Some people, because they want to see Tyler Robinson fry, they want that. That's what they view will be justice for Charlie. Other people are curious to see if the prosecutors can actually make the case and convince the doubters of the official narrative. And then there's probably other people that just want to go up there and they just want to see the entire case fall apart. But I always assumed that, and I've always said this on the show, I said, well, I'm going to, I don't believe the official narrative. And, here are the reasons why. I feel there's no need to go into it any further right now, but the only conclusion I can reach is that the official narrative is impossible. Not just implausible, but impossible. But I figured, well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's not expose ourselves. Let's wait and see what happens in the trial, and maybe there'll be some new evidence that might make a plausible case. And now the judge says there's no new evidence? Yikes. Yikes. Also, Anna Paulina Luna claims the alleged Charlie Kirk killer, Tyler Robinson, had ties to an extremist terror organization in Cuba. Anna Paulina Luna, maybe Lunar too, actually. We'll call her Lunar. I like that. That works for her. Lunar claims the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk was affiliated with an extremist group who has ties to the national network on Cuba. Oh, it's Cuba again, huh? Well, Anna Paulina Luna also said that the killer had ties to China. So are we just making stuff up now, or what's the deal? First it was China, now it's Cuba. It'll be Iran soon. It's just, we're just using and abusing this story for political purposes. And it's not a good look, I have to tell you. And now the judge says no new evidence. Oh boy, this thing is not looking good.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Well, we've avoided a crash out rant today. We almost had one. We were this close, and we called it off. No crash out rant today. That's all right. Plenty of energy, though, thanks to Crash Out Energy, the official energy drink of the Owen Report. By the way, I saw, you may see this. We don't want to give any other competing energy drinks any plugs here, but you're probably going to see now the Trump family is connected to an energy drink. And it's funny. It's not a bad energy drink, but it's still got some of those toxic stuff in it that you just don't want to drink every day. And that's really what it comes down to. If you're like me and you drink an energy drink every day, you don't want to drink the toxic stuff. It's like, you drink a toxic thing maybe once, twice a month. It's probably not going to kill you. You're drinking that toxic sludge 5 times a week. Now these energy drinks are starting to do probably serious harm. Not Crash Out Energy. That's the big difference. This is a healthy, organic, natural source for energy and focus. For 10 plus years, I've been combining energy drinks with nootropics, and I sat there and I realized I'm drinking these energy drinks. There are bad ingredients in here. I don't want to drink this every day. I need to have my own energy drink that's healthy, good ingredients, none of the bad stuff, 200 milligrams of caffeine, and the nootropics for mental focus, clarity, and energy. That's Crash Out Energy. Go to crashout.energy, folks. Try it today. The official energy drink of the Owen Report. My own creation. This is kind of my baby, I will tell you. Very proud of this. Try it for yourself. Crashout.energy. You won't find anything else like it on the market. And anything else that's even close to this is double the price. Trust me, I've already done the research before we put this thing together and decided on the price. That's why there's never going to be any sales or discounts or anything like that. It's as cheap as it gets. You can't really cut the cost anymore. But you'll love it. Crashout.energy. Try it for yourself. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate the rave reviews. This is my creation. This is my baby. So when you say you love it, that feels good. Crashout.energy.
No, que stop this. 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 No, you stop this. No, you stop this.
Extra dimensional and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
No, you stop this.
All right, we got some data center news here. Of course, the Republicans want you to believe this is all Chinese propaganda because we're in an AI race. We're in an AI race against China. What a bunch of bullcrap. What a bunch of bullcrap. No, these are local communities that are standing up against big tech and the agenda to turn America into an AI surveillance state data center. New Tennessee law requires data center owners to pay full electricity and infrastructure costs. The law, sponsored by Memphis Republican Brent Taylor, does not allow cities to pay for the center's infrastructure or electrical needs. Well, how about that? What'd I tell you guys? What did I tell you? The Republicans at the local level they're gonna change on this. They're gonna run against the GOP because they know this stuff is unpopular, especially locally. So what's going to be so ironic, I think at the end of this, you're going to have the MAGA sycophants be the only cheerleaders left for turning America into a giant data center and the only cheerleaders left for Israel. It's going to be one of the most bizarre phenomenons. It's going to be one of the most strange spectacles ever witnessed in American politics. Truly. I think we're a couple months away. It'll really hit right before the midterms. And MAGA is going to be telling you how great data centers are and how great Israel is. And they're going to be so isolated, so alone on that island, it's going to be embarrassing. They're going to be totally exposed in that moment. But we're getting there. We are getting there. And I told you Republicans would start to break rank on this. Middle Tennessee cities consider limits on data center construction. There are already 27 data centers in the Nashville area, but the city didn't have any rules for where and how they can be built. And so now you see why they're pressing the gas on this issue. They tried to get ahead of the data centers being built before the American people could catch on and stop it. So now it's pedal to the metal. Now they're going to start writing laws to stop us from doing it. So they're going to shove this down your throats. Because the only two agendas of this administration are the domestic agenda to turn the United States of America into an AI data center and the foreign agenda, whatever Israel wants. So that's why everything else that is happening, because those are the only two real agendas. So Katie Miller, the wife of Stephen Miller, she has a podcast. She got Todd Blanche on her show. And this is an incredible moment. Katie Miller asks Todd Blanche about Epstein's mansions having cameras. Listen to Blanche's answer.
Did you guys find all the videotapes from all of his hidden cameras that he had throughout his homes?
In fact, this is even better. A great job by Katie Miller. It's so perfect. The innocence The female naivete of Katie Miller is glorious in this moment because she asserts it. Really, she asserts it. She doesn't ask. She asserts it. Epstein had cameras in his home. Do you have the cameras? So she's accepting and asserting the fact that Epstein had cameras in his home. Just chef's kiss from Katie Miller, but watch what the response is.
Did you guys find all the videotapes from all of his hidden cameras that he had throughout his homes?
There's no evidence that he had hidden cameras throughout his phones, throughout his homes. I mean, so just let me put a finer point on that. Does that mean he didn't have hidden cameras? No, I have no idea whether he did or not. We never collected any evidence. We got all of his devices. We searched all of his devices. There is no evidence of any hidden cameras.
Guys, do you realize how absurd that statement is from Todd Blanche? Good for Katie Miller. And again, it's like she's not even thinking twice because, this is Todd Blanche, acting attorney general, part of the Trump administration. So it's like she knows that there's some parameters here. She's got to keep things mostly above the belt. She's not trying for any low blows, right? And then her naivety, it's like, yeah, everybody knows Epstein had cameras in his home. Like, yeah, everybody knows that. I can ask that. That's fair. And then Blanche just completely denies it. Again, let's break this down. Short clip. Let's just break this down. How absurd Todd Blanche's response here is.
Did you guys find all the videotapes from all of his hidden cameras that he had throughout his homes?
So he's fumbling, he's stumbling around the question.
There's no evidence that he had hidden cameras throughout his phones.
There's no evidence, so he means homes.
Throughout his homes.
There's no evidence. Now look, if he was going to say, we're not entirely sure about the cameras in his homes, or we're not entirely sure about the nature of the cameras in his homes, we're not exactly sure if they were recording and storing videos, if he was to offer some sort of a response that was like, yeah, there's a legitimate question there, but we're just not sure. Okay, maybe you don't like it, but it's like, all right, I don't like it, but okay. This to claim there's no evidence. I mean, this is an unreal lie. Anybody who's gone through the Epstein emails knows there's at least evidence in there. There's emails discussing the hidden camera systems, and there's images showing the hidden camera system. There's even the room that broadcasts all the different signals. So these are all of this is in the Epstein files. So it's like, what is the situation? Is this Todd Blanche just lying because he's a corrupt, dirty liar? Is this Todd Blanche who doesn't even know? He's never even seen the Epstein files? He's never even looked at the emails? He's literally ignorant? And he says there's no evidence because he's ignorant? Is he a liar or is he ignorant? I don't see where else can you land? That's your spectrum of possibility here. We always talk about the spectrum of possibility. Todd Blanche is either outright lying to you, or Todd Blanche, as the attorney general, is ignorant on one of the most important cases in modern history. So which one is it? Is Todd Blanche a blatant, dirty, disgusting, rotten, dirty liar working for Trump? Or is Todd Blanche ignorant and he hasn't even looked at the Epstein files? He hadn't even looked at the case. Which one is it? Because to say there's no evidence, I mean, that is outrageous. That is an outrageous level of gaslighting from Todd Blanche. That is disgusting. And this is why it's just like, this is why MAGA is so unrelatable now. Because it's really beyond politics. It's like a spiritual thing. It's like a soul thing. Like, MAGA loves being lied to now. MAGA loves being treated like a little schoolboy bitch. MAGA loves to be told to go sit in the corner and watch while I make love to your wife. Like, MAGA is into that. They will defend Todd Blanche for this statement. They will say, yeah, you're right. There is no evidence. It's like, you guys we're not even living in the same world anymore.
I mean, so just let me put a finer point on that. Does that mean he didn't have hidden cameras?
Now, notice how he's, I just said a big ridiculous lie. So let me try to couch that a little bit. Let me try to bring that back to earth a little bit. It's like, oh my gosh, I just said a ridiculous lie. So let me try to like cover for my giant lie.
No, I have no idea whether he did or not.
How can that be the case? Listen, so first he says there is no evidence that Epstein had hidden cameras. Then he says,
On point of that. Does that mean he didn't have hidden cameras? No, I have no idea whether he did or not.
how can you say that? Folks, this is outrageous. My trust level for Todd Blanche after this clip goes down to 0. That's how outrageous this is. So first he says there is no evidence. He says as a conclusive statement, as a conclusive final statement, there is no evidence. Then he says, I don't know if there is evidence. I mean, folks, listen to this. This is unreal.
There's no evidence that he had hidden cameras throughout his throughout his homes. I mean, so just let me put a finer point on that. Does that mean he didn't have hidden cameras? No, I have no idea whether he did or not.
How can you say conclusively there is no evidence and then also conclusively say you have no idea? So you see, I'll give Blanche credit. He's at least smart enough to realize he just fucked up. I mean, let's give Blanche a little bit of credit here. He just realized he fucked up. And he just realized, oh my gosh, I just lied. It's like I just told a whopper of a lie. And notice he realized all of this in a very short period of time. He's obviously a smart guy. I can relate. His brain probably works like mine. So you notice he just told the big lie. And then he just processed it, all of that in his head in a split second. He processed, oh crap, I just told a giant lie. All the evidence that he had hidden cameras exist. Everybody's probably seeing it. That's why she just asked me this question. And I just lied to. I look like a buffoon. I look like a liar. All of this just processed. And so then he realizes in the spectrum of potentials, he realizes, oh, I'm a liar. What's the other potential here is, oh, I'm ignorant. So you see, he goes from I'm a liar to, oh, no, I'm just ignorant. You just witnessed the whole thing happen in 5 seconds. That's how this works. So conclusively, there is no evidence, but also we don't know.
So he had hidden cameras throughout his homes. I mean, so just let me put a finer point on that. Does that mean he didn't have hidden cameras? No, I have no idea whether he did or not. We never collected any evidence. We got all of his devices. We searched all of his devices. There is no evidence of any hidden cameras.
Did you guys find?
Unreal. The Epstein cover-up administration. They'll never be able to live it down. I mean, that's it. This is the Epstein cover-up administration. Oh, it's going to be fun to watch, guys. I'm telling you. They'll always end up having to defend Jeffrey Epstein. That's MAGA. This is MAGA. This is MAGA. MAGA is now on an island, waving pom-poms, wearing their hats, thinking they're still at the cool kids table, defending data centers, defending Israel, and defending Epstein. That's what MAGA has been turned into. Congratulations. What does MAGA mean? People are asking, what does MAGA mean? This is like the big trending question on all the podcasts now. What does MAGA mean? Well, it's very simple. MAGA now means defending Epstein, defending Israel, and turning America into an AI data center. That's MAGA. That's what MAGA stands for. That's what MAGA fights for. That's the MAGA political policy machine. And so congratulations. Congratulations to MAGA. And now on the Epstein thing, so you probably heard, maybe if you're on X, Scott Bessent gets into it with Ron Wyden. And I mean, he delivers a pretty solid punch here. Now, MAGA is celebrating this exchange. MAGA is going crazy. They're out on the 50-yard line. They're kicking their leg up over their head. They're doing triangle formulations. They're flipping the cheerleaders in their air. They're doing somersaults. I mean, it's a full MAGA celebration fest on the 50-yard line over this clip.
Let's be clear here. Nobody is interested in the ramblings of a capo in the most corrupt regime in American history. We want to get some facts about this deal. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I will ask my questions first today.
And we would like to hear what Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about. Your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret.
So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
Oh! So this is pretty funny, too. The former Soros financier, Scott Bessent, it might be the most credible person on the Trump administration. Might be Scott Bessent. This is what I need, like a Twilight Zone drop, I think. Scott Bessent, the gay man with adopted children, a married gay man with adopted children, former Soros financier, has the highest approval rating and the highest integrity inside of the Trump administration. That's where we're at. Okay. All right. Just trying to figure out where we are on the map here. So they're all going crazy. Scott Bessent with the big dunk on Ron Wyden using the Epstein files. And so I'm watching MAGA celebrate this today. I'm watching the MAGA social media influencers and cheerleaders celebrate and share this clip today. Like, oh, we got the Democrats. Look at Scott Bessent. He owned him. And I'm sitting here. I'm like, wait a second. You guys believe Epstein is a hoax. Wait. What is going on here? You guys are the ones that say Epstein is a hoax. You guys are the ones that say it's a nothing burger. You guys are the ones that want us to stop talking about it. But now Epstein is real, and Epstein is a serious scandal. When we want to bash the Democrats over the head with it, then Epstein is good. Whenever we want to bash the Biden administration, whenever we want to bash the Democrats, we will use the Epstein scandal to bash Democrats. But if that ever gets directed at Republicans, no, we don't do that. If you dare bring up the Epstein files and Trump or Lutnick or Israel or anything that might even just scratch the surface of the Trump administration and his associates, if you bring it up directionally any way, shape, or form like that, you're a bad person, you're a hoaxer, you're a Democrat, you're a liberal, you're fake news. But when Scott Bessent uses the Epstein files to bash the Democrat Ron Wyden over the head, it's, we got you. We got the Epstein guys. Yeah, we're bashing you over. I mean, it's the weirdest thing ever. It is the weirdest thing. So when you and we talk about Epstein and the Epstein files and the scandal, it's a hoax. It doesn't exist. We're wasting time. It's time to move on. But when Scott Bessent attacks Ron Wyden and the Democrats, it's the gotcha moment of the year. It's the dunk of the year. It's the play of the day. It's real. It's the Epstein files. We're directing it to Democrats. It's all good. Just, looking for some logical consistency here. That's all. That's all. And at the end of the day, they will end up defending Epstein at the end of the day. But, hey, Bessent gets the day there, huh? Sebastian Gorka. I'm surprised they didn't make him the DNI. So Sean Ryan and Megyn Kelly did a show. Remember, this is what the left used to do when you just used to do a talk show or, have a conversation. The left used to freak out. Now it's MAGA. Now MAGA hates people talking. So Gorka, he's attacking Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan. Two Americans, by the way. Gorka's a foreigner, for what it's worth. He's not an American. He's a foreigner. He's a poser. He's a grifter. He's a fraud. So he's attacking Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan. He says they want to unite with those who hate America and call MAGA fascists. Do not forget this ever. Well, you know what? Let's even accept that. I don't agree that is a fair analysis of Sean Ryan and Megyn Kelly, generally speaking. But for the sake of this conversation, I will accept Sebastian Gorka's labeling here. I will accept Sebastian Gorka's accusation that Megyn Kelly and Sean Ryan want to unite with those who hate America and call MAGA fascists. Let's just accept that as true. Okay. Well, here's the problem. You, Gorka, and the Swamp, and the Epstein class and the foreign lobby and big tech lobby that runs this administration, do you know who you're asking us to unite with? See, that's your problem. This new right-wing authoritarian MAGA, this new globalist MAGA, this new donor class MAGA, this new big tech MAGA, they haven't realized it yet. You guys are just as bad as the left, maybe worse. This is your big miss. This is your big blind spot. And so if you're confused and you're like, man, I keep doing this association game with Democrats. I keep doing this association game with far left liberals and progressives, and it's not landing. Yeah, because most people look at you as just as bad. Modern day MAGA, Trump supporters, Gorka, Lutnick, people lump you in with the bad guys now. You're not the good guys. You're the bad guys. So this whole association game, you're like, oh, Democrat, liberal, fashion. It doesn't stick. You're the bad guys now. So it doesn't really hit. And you're asking us to unite with people that hate us. You're asking us to unite with people that want to destroy our country. You're asking us to unite with the big tech lobby that censored us. You're asking us to unite with the Israeli lobby that has lied to us and drug us into another war in the Middle East. So your proposal here is no good. Your proposal and your association games are no good. We're not interested. We don't care if you call us leftist, fascist. It means nothing to us. Just like it's never meant anything to us. Just like when you try to do the same thing to us in 2015 and 16 when we supported Trump and you didn't, it didn't affect us then. It's not going to affect us now. But this is what they want us to unite with. Brandon Straka, who we had on the show yesterday, he shares this. Jerry Perna is the mother of January 6th defendant Matt Perna, who committed suicide after the torture the Biden administration put him through. And she's on X talking politics, and she's getting attacked by MAGA. That's what she's doing. And then they're asking her, what are you doing? What are you doing? You just feel sorry for yourself. This woman lost her son to suicide because he was targeted and tortured by the Biden administration. And MAGA is attacking her for it because she's not in the Trump cult. That's who Gorka wants you to associate with. So you understand, these attacks don't work. You're the bad guys now. Just because you're on the right wing of American politics doesn't mean you're the good guys. You guys are the bad guys now. And your biggest swing and miss, maybe the attacks, the name calling, all the other lowbrow stuff, maybe that stuff doesn't impact us too much. Maybe that stuff isn't really something where we're going to say, hey, as a principled person, I can't unite with that. No, that's not really what does it. What does it is when you ask us to unite with foreign interests. When you ask us to unite with foreign lobbyists and foreign interests and put foreign countries' interests before our country's interest, that's a no-go zone for us. That's a non-starter for us. We're not interested. And so if you think you can say, oh, you're on the left now, you're fascist, you're this, you're that, you're literally traitors to the country. So sorry, that's not selling us. That's what it is now. Oh, we still have the same issues with Democrats. Don't be confused. We still have our same issues with leftists, liberals, progressives, Democrats. Those issues are still there. But don't get it twisted. Just because we have these issues with the American left does not mean we are going to sell out to a foreign country. And this is that you just don't understand about us. We will never sell out to foreign interests. We will never sell out to foreign lobbyists. We will never sell out to a foreign country. Ever. Never. It doesn't matter what you call us. It doesn't matter what box you try to put us in. It doesn't matter how you try to choke us out politically. None of it matters. We will never be a traitor to this country. We will never sell out to a foreign country, ever. It will never happen, Gorka. You understand? And that's what you're asking of us. And the answer is no. For now and forever, no. And this is the Republican Jewish coalition. This is who they want us to ally with. This is who they're demanding you ally with. Foreign interests, foreign lobbyists. Now, here's what's so crazy is I'm going to go through this series of clips. When you're debating MAGA that is now totally sold out, and you talk about how the Israeli lobby and the Jewish lobby bought a seat in Kentucky and got rid of any politicians that won't put Israel first. When you say that, MAGA denies it. They deny it. They say it doesn't exist. They call you all of these names. And yet this is the Republican Jewish coalition. And I have at least 3 clips where they all express and brag and celebrate about how the Israeli and Jewish lobby can get rid of whoever they want in the right wing of politics. So when you say it, it doesn't exist. When they say it, it's a good thing. It's just like the Epstein files. So here's Randy Fine celebrating that the Israeli lobby controls Republican Party politics.
I served with 2 anti-Semites, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey. One we got to quit, and the other...
I mean, that should be defamation. This man should be sued for defamation. At what point are these defamatory statements?
Thanks to all of you, we beat.
So there is. He says the Republican Jewish coalition and the Israeli lobby defeated Thomas Massey. There they are, bragging about it.
And we're very, very lucky. Whereas Democrats 20 or 30 or 40 years ago had anti-Semitism show up in their party, and they minimized it, and they said it was the fringe, and they didn't deal with it, and it took over their party. The leader of our party said he wasn't going to deal with that.
That's funny because he wasn't the leader of your party until he took the Israeli lobby money. You guys all rejected him until he took the hundreds of millions of dollars from the Israeli lobby. And now all of a sudden it's your party. That's right. It's so frustrating, man. I mean, I can go on. I've got multiple clips here. I'm going to play them. We're going to get through them. But it's just like, here they are. They literally brag about how they own the Republican Party. They brag. And they go up at their conventions, all the different Jewish Israel lobby conventions that they have seemingly all the time. No other lobby has as much influence as the Israeli lobby. It's just, there's nothing even on the same level. But when you say that, it doesn't exist. And then they say it. And then they come out and they brag about it. I mean, I've never seen a more ludicrous gaslighting campaign in my life than what the Israeli lobby is doing right now. They own the Republican Party. They own Congress, and they own the White House, and they brag about it. But then when you report on it and say, hey, this is happening, they say, oh, no, it doesn't exist. And yet it's in their own words. I mean, do you want me to continue? I can do this all day. I got clips all day about them bragging about it. Why not?
I have been mistaken recently.
This is Representative Mike Lawler, Republican, New York.
Some of you may have seen. Rand Paul's son accused me of being Jewish and proceeded to scream and yell at me for 10 minutes.
Now, nobody has any idea what he's talking about, except that Lawler is pro-amnesty and takes AIPAC money.
The difference is I was not insulted to be accused of being Jewish, though I am a proud Irish-Italian Catholic from New York. He said to me, your people will be responsible if Thomas Massey loses. Well, let me say, I am so proud of my people.
So there it is. They brag about it. The Israeli lobby, the Jewish lobby got rid of Thomas Massie. When you say it, you're an anti-Semite and it didn't happen. But when they brag about it at their own events, it's good, and they clap and they cheer. Here's the Republican Jewish Coalition CEO again. Is there any doubt who owns the Republican Party? Is there any doubt what runs right-wing politics? It's not America first. It's not America's interest. It's not American people. It's the Israeli and the Jewish lobby. Here he is bragging about it.
We have been strong and vocal in confronting the poisonous anti-Semitism and anti-Israel rhetoric coming from people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Nick Fuentes. Whether it comes from the far left or the far right, whether it's wrapped in America First language or dressed up as social commentary, anti-Semitism is anti-Semitism. And the RJC will never.
And we all know what that means. If you don't prioritize Israel, if you don't want to be a slave to Israel's interest, if you don't want the Israeli lobby owning your government, then you're an anti-Semite. That's the translation here. Let's just be very clear about what these words mean. This has nothing to do with you hating somebody because of their religion or skin color or background or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. Never has. This has everything to do with the Israeli lobby owning your country, and you are not allowed to say anything about it or have a problem with it, or you're an anti-Semite. That's what he's saying, and they're bragging about it.
Never hesitate to call it out, confront it, and fight it. What gives me confidence, and what should give all of us confidence, is this room assembled here today. The people here tonight don't retreat. You engage, you organize, you advocate, you lead, and many of you today marched because we care so deeply about what's happening. You understand that elections matter, ideas matter, coalitions matter, and because of your commitment,
unless those ideas are pro-American, America first, America only, and benefit America, then they're not good. Then they're not good. I mean, guys, I could go on for days with this. I think we get it. I mean, we just, it's so overwhelming at this point. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson on his trip to Israel and the other representatives that went telling you, yep, we work for Israel now.
We had the opportunity to have the speaker here for a few days as part of the journey, and just to see the response of the people here as we walk through different places, to see all that's happened just in this 1 week, nothing less than extraordinary.
Speaker Johnson's presence in Judea and Samaria is incredibly significant. He is the highest ranking U.S. official ever in history to come to this region. He is a strong supporter of Israel, and he's a person of deep personal faith, and that gives him a connection beyond the geopolitical and into the personal and spiritual.
This trip has been extraordinary. It really touches at the heart, the root of why we're doing what we're doing. It's done more than that, though. It's shed light on the personal side of what's happening here in the Middle East, and it's given insight to help arm us to go back to Congress and to promote the appropriate legislation to bring peace and stability to this region for all peoples.
I came to Israel. They told me how I need to vote in Congress, and now that's exactly what I do. Very nice. Thank you. But Israel has no influence, and it's definitely not totally treasonous, and you're all not total traitors for doing it. Nope, that's definitely not the truth. Bruce Pearl, interesting statement here.
American Jewry has got to be this country's greatest patriots. We are running out of places to live, right? Aren't we? And we have got to make sure that we have a Congress.
Yikes. Yikes. Like, did you see what Max Nordau said? He's probably watching. Did you guys see Max Nordau's post about Poland and Palestine? And he's like, this is what Poland did to Jews. And this is what Palestine did to Jews. It's like, oh, Palestine neighbors with Israel and is now completely destroyed off the entire map. Like, and then you have Poland, which is doing very well as a nation state. And it's like, hey, Max, would you rather live in Poland or Palestine? And his whole point was like Poland is anti-Semitic and Poland is not good for Jewish people, but, you know, the Palestinians live next to Israel. And it's just like, Max, where would you rather live, Poland or Palestine? I'm just curious, Max. I'm just asking you. You're the one that made the post today, and I know you tune into all my shows, by the way. So I'm just curious, Max, would you rather live in Poland or would you rather live in Palestine? Poland, doing quite well for itself. Palestine has been completely annihilated off the face of the earth by Israel. So, maybe think about it before you post these things, Max. All right, Nikita Bear. This is weird. They're trying to do too much, and I think I'm starting to get what they're trying to do. I mean, we know about the censorship, right? We know why they're censoring X. Okay, we get it. But he posted this, and I think there's more of a creative direction that's being exposed here. We know the political direction. We know why they put Nikita in there and his connections. It's the same story. All right, we get it. But he said this earlier this morning, and he's basically the head of the X creative algorithm, everything. He said, aggregators are a cancer to social networks. They're all running on autopilot. Instagram killed aggregators in 2022. Keep that in mind, Instagram. And it led to an explosion of original content. Really? Is anybody on Instagram anymore? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I know I have an account on there, but I don't really hear much about it. It is going to work much better for X. Our users are smarter and have a lot more to say as long as their voices are not drowned out by automated accounts. We are publicly demonetizing the most egregious aggregators and using them as examples so the rest can start evolving. The end state of X in a month, we will never pay twice for the same content. We will only reward for net new contributions to the timeline. So I think a couple things are revealed. They want to turn X into Instagram. They want to turn X into a slop-filled social media like Instagram. It's like, there's a reason why I spend literally 0 minutes on Instagram or TikTok. 0. Because it's slop. It's pure slop. And sure, there's good stuff in there and there's good creators in there and they get stuff through the algorithm that's worthwhile. And then it gets uploaded onto X. It's like that's kind of the sign of good content. No, they want to turn X into Instagram slop, you know, Instagram whores and fitness stuff and food stuff. You know, that's what you go to Instagram for. That's what it's for. X is about news. X is about breaking news. X is about narrative wars. X is about information. And they hate it because it's not helping the donor class. So they're trying to destroy X, which has become the greatest weapon of free speech and independent journalism against the establishment and the donor class. And so that's why they're trying to destroy it. Now, I'm curious, what does this mean about aggregators? I want to see who he's talking about. I don't like this. He just says aggregators. Well, is he talking about people that post headlines? Is he talking about somebody like Libs of TikTok? Is Libs of TikTok going to get demonetized? Because Libs of TikTok does exactly what he's describing here, by the way. All Libs of TikTok does is rip other people's content and upload it on X. There's probably no greater example than a pure aggregator that posts almost 0 original content except Libs of TikTok. Almost everything Libs of TikTok gets comes from another source. I've not seen Nikita Bayer say anything about Libs of TikTok. Is Libs of TikTok going to get demonetized, or is she on the right team? Does Libs of TikTok get the Passover? You know what I'm saying? With the Passover, that's a good one, isn't it? I think Libs of TikTok gets passed over when it comes to the aggregator cancellations. And I noticed Nikita attacks Mario Nafal, who actually does original content. Now, you could say Mario uploads other content. That is true. Mario Nafal, though, actually does original content. Mario Nafal does interviews, and he does his own live streams. So Nafal has more original content than Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok is pure reposting and aggregating other people's content. And yet Nikita has called out Mario Nawfal and not Libs of TikTok. Why is that? Does Mario not get the special Passover, but Libs of TikTok does? Chaya gets the special Passover, but Mario doesn't? I'd like to know who these aggregators are. I think I could take a pretty good guess. I think we could all take a pretty good guess exactly how this is going to be applied and why Mario Nawfal will be hit with this new algorithm, but Libs of TikTok won't. I think we all know why, but I won't leap to conclusions. I'd like to see examples. Who are the aggregators you are talking about, Nikita? I think it's a fair question to ask. I understand what you're trying to do creatively. You're going to destroy the platform. I mean, you're going to completely destroy the entire purpose of X and why the vast majority of people log on to X and spend so much time on X. Because we have an addiction to breaking news and information overload. That's why we love X. We want the information overload. We want it to be refreshed and have something new in a split second. We like the overwhelming nature of it all. That's why X is number one. Nikita is going to destroy it if he tries to turn it into Instagram, as it sounds like that's where they want to go creatively. But I'd like to know who are these aggregators? I want to know. I want him to name accounts so that we can have an idea of who and what he's talking about. Because, you know, they talk about transparency, and there is a level of transparency when it comes to open sourcing the algorithm and the code. But that's when you start talking about aggregators, those are people. We're not talking about code. We're not talking about algorithms. We're talking about people. So who are the aggregators? Who are the people that you're calling a cancer and you're going to demonetize? I'd like to know. And if it's not Libs of TikTok, then who is it? Because nobody shares other people's content more than Libs of TikTok. I mean, that's the entire purpose of the account. Now, I'm not calling for Libs of TikTok to be demonetized or punished for that. I'm just saying, is this policy applied to Libs of TikTok? And if not, why not? And who are the aggregators that you're going to be demonetizing? I think this is important for transparency, if that's your goal. Otherwise, you're going to destroy the app, which will be unfortunate. And by the way, did you know Nikita Bear was recently in Japan? Nikita was just in Japan last month doing Japanese TV. Interesting. I just found that curious, not even leading into anything. Protests grow in Albania over Kushner-linked project. Plans for luxury resorts on the Adriatic Sea have long worried environmentalists. The developments are now a flashpoint for broader frustrations with the government. Well, let's see if the Kushner-Israel lobby can assert themselves in Albania as they are doing right now in Palestine. So I hope Albanians don't have to start dying for the next Kushner real estate development. But be careful. I wouldn't be surprised if bombs don't start dropping on Albania so that Kushner can have his next real estate project. That island that Kushner and Ivanka are talking about, did you know that's an old war island with a bunch of old war infrastructure? Like bunkers? Jeez. Hunter Biden weighs in. Hunter Biden, folks. He says, let me get this straight. Jake Tapper is focused on attacking my mom. Jared and Ivanka are building a private island paradise on Albanian protected land. Don Jr. married the daughter of Epstein's banker. That's true, by the way. And a startup his fund backs just got a record $620 million Pentagon loan. Eric Trump is taking an Israeli drone company public for $1.5 billion in the middle of a war with Iran that nobody wanted. And I get asked, but what about your paintings, Hunter? Please. It's Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. And MAGA and Trump have gone so sideways that Hunter Biden now speaks more truth than MAGA. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I'm here right now. But here I am with you. Hunter Biden now comes off as more credible than MAGA. And he's right, by the way. And if it was Hunter Biden that had a startup company that got a $620 million Pentagon loan while his dad was president, or if it was Hunter Biden that took an Israeli drone company public for $1.5 billion in the middle of a war that his father started, you know every single person in MAGA would be screaming for an arrest. They would be banging their heads on the wall, crying corruption, Biden crime family. Everyone knows that would be happening. But because it's the Trumps, they say nothing. Because it's the Trump family, MAGA says nothing. Because it means nothing anymore. It's a shell. It's hollow. It's corrupted. And now Hunter Biden comes off as more ethical and more right than MAGA. That's where we're at. Yikes. And by the way, Jared Kushner said on a podcast, it was him and Nat Rothschild that came up with the idea. Jared Kushner and Nat Rothschild came up with the idea to take this private island. Oh, island? Rothschild? Epstein? Emails? I represent the Rothschilds? It's all Epstein class. It's all Epstein class. I mean, we are dominated by the Epstein class. We have been conquered by the Epstein class. And now it's so bad. The Epstein class conquering of MAGA, the Epstein class cucking of MAGA is so bad that Hunter Biden looks good. That's how bad it is. Hunter Biden now looks good next to the Epstein class cucking of MAGA. Another massive layoff story. Oh, the economy's great. All the biggest companies are laying thousands of people off. It continues. Uber slashes People division, the People division. Yeah. The People divisions aren't going to last much longer thanks to this administration. By nearly a quarter. Uber fires nearly a quarter of its employees. Let's just stop with this weird phrasing here. CEO says changes are necessary. Nancy Mace says seniors shouldn't pay property taxes. Do you agree? Yes, but why stop at seniors? Nobody should be paying property taxes. And now this story comes up every 4 years. Your Social Security check could be cut by $500 a month in 2032, report finds. Folks, there is no money. Let me be perfectly clear. This story surfaces like every 4 years whenever they recut the budget. Social Security is bankrupt. The government is bankrupt. They have no money. And so every time they get to this point with Social Security and they look in the bank account, they're like, there's no money. We have no money. Actually, we're like 40 trillion in debt. And so then they have to reformulate and just print more money, put it into. So this always happens. This always happens. But, who knows if you'll ever get Social Security. So keep paying those taxes. Keep paying those taxes, guys. All right. I think the NBA finals start tonight, right? Is that I think that's true. Yeah, it's tonight. Yeah, you know where my action is. By the way, how about those Vegas Knights last night, huh? Don't ever take my betting advice, but if you did yesterday, yeah, looking pretty good. Yeah, well, the reason I bring this up is I have this story here. The game is tonight. San Antonio, a big favorite. I kind of like San Antonio to win and New York to cover. I don't know. I don't have any action yet, but that's where I'm leaning. A little bit of a hedge. I bring this up. Trump apparently plans to attend Game 3 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks hosting an NBA Finals game for the first time in 27 years. Apparently, Trump wants to attend. That'll be interesting. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if it's going to happen. because I think it's too much of a risk. I'm not sure he's going to get a good reception. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know if Trump gets a good reception. And there's so many liberal celebrities that go to those games that the Knicks embrace. I don't know. I mean, Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, these are the big popular liberals that go to the Knicks games. They're no fan of Trump. That'll be interesting. I don't know. I think the risk of him getting booed is probably too much. I think they back off it. I think they pull the plug. I don't think he goes. That'll be interesting to see, though. All right, let's go to our super chats before we sign off. We got to fly through these tonight. Billy Cardano, any legal progress with the Facebook imposter? No, we're getting no progress. The legal stuff takes time, and it's stalled a little bit. My lawyers, we're dealing with some other stuff that's more important right now. So, but no, the imposter won't give up the account, won't respond. So it's very unfortunate. The poor youth paying Social Security to rich old people is a scam. Abolish Social Security. Hey, how about that? You put that up earlier, and I closed the show with that, and you're totally right. You should be able to opt out of Social Security, actually. Yeah, guys, buy gold. The silver belongs to me, says the Silver Soldier. It's all yours. All the silver, huh? NASA, what's gayer, elections or believing in them? Oh, fag. Did Trump really reduce vax schedule from 75 to 9? They did reduce it. I don't know what the numbers are. Royce White's Minnesota RC speech was fire. Yeah, go Royce White. That'd be a good one to get in. Democrats are just transgender Republicans. No. Republicans are just transgender Democrats. Let's get this one right. Dust Vault. It was 61 minutes for Kamala Harris. Yeah, but see, when they're rigging 60 minutes for Democrats, it's bad. When they're rigging 60 minutes for Republicans, it's good. See? Speak for yourself. I watch Rachel Madcow daily. I know you're lying because she's not on daily. See? Nice try. You got to know better than that. You can't slip one by me. You can't slip one by Babe Ruth. That's 420 feet in the bleachers, baby. Get out of here. I know you're not watching Rachel daily because she's not on daily. Dust Vault. Nice try. Not bleacher bomb with that one. You can't sneak one by Babe Ruth. Get out of here. Trump just top roped elbowed his spirit animal. Clown world. Pray X. Our chairman endorsed Bianca. Trump endorsed Hilton. So did California GEP. The chairman is pro-Trump. They are coming around too slow, though. Bianca would have been good, but he never had a chance against the GOP. But I don't think Hilton has a chance anyway. The election data does not favor Hilton. It's a really weird game the Republican media is playing with its audience. Like the election data shows Hilton as a path to victory. I don't see it. I have very weird that they're making that claim. I don't see it. Pratt, there's a path to victory. I don't see it with Hilton. Maybe I'm biased because I don't like pro-censorship Republicans like Hilton, but I don't think this is about my bias. This is just pure election data. I just don't see it. Pole Barn Builder. Hey, Owen, loving the show. Have a quick question. Did you and Savannah Hernandez ever date during y'all's time at InfoWars? A personal life question like that, and you think it's going to get answered? I give you credit. I give you credit for asking the question. But I guess you'll just have to do further research on that. You know I don't bring my personal life on the air. And that's for good reason, by the way. 33 trillion D chess. No. We're up to 34 trillion or 40 trillion now. I think we're 40 trillion D chess. Actually, it's right up there with the debt. Woofy, they can't fix stolen elections while they allow foreign countries to buy American elections. Yeah. It's all a big joke. And they demand your loyalty. They demand you to sell out your country and be loyal to a foreign country, and we just won't do it. It's just not going to happen. Robert, great white chimp out. Rise up, white man. by chimping out today. I think I avoid the chimp out. I was on the verge. I was on the verge of a crash out rant today, and I didn't do it. I stopped myself. I don't think there was any chimping out. I'm like the albino chimp. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time, but YouTube won't let me finish the quote. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. That's good. I voted Spencer and Bianco. California needs a change. Ivan. Yeah, Bianco would have been that. Bianco would have been that, but Hilton's the establishment guy, so glad to see your camera is fixed. Wifey. I don't know. No, that wasn't a camera issue. We had some weird deal last night with Jake Shields. Now, I will tell you, I'll be honest. I don't take it seriously enough. I'll be honest. I treat this as more of a radio show. People will laugh because sometimes we have the sound issues. The point is, I don't really like video quality. You can probably tell I don't really prioritize it. I don't. I probably should fix my cameras and adjust lenses and whatever, get the best picture. I feel like you want to listen to the show or you don't. I don't really take the video aspect as the be all end all. I probably should, honestly. It's a shortcoming. It's on me. But no, that issue with Jake Shields last night was a connection issue. It wasn't a camera issue. We've had these storms the last couple of weeks. My power's been knocked out like 5 times. And it happened again last night. And it's like it's sunny, nice evening, whatever, sunset, and then the one clap of thunder, and there's like a damn tropical storm that rips through in like 15 minutes, and all the power's out. And it happened again last night. So I don't know, maybe that's why the connection was bad. Ken Rose, thank you. We had a pretty good time with Jake last night, by the way. Pretty good time with David Pollack as well, with OAN. Busy day yesterday, did 3 shows. Appreciate that, everybody that had me on. King Adal. I can't read that. Mark Levin has been an asshole since the Clinton administration. You don't have to prove it, bro. I think, well, I'm not trying to prove he's an asshole. I'm trying to prove something a little bigger than Mark Levin, but I think that also translates. No offense, but any normal American that still supports MAGA is either in complete denial, has a lot left to be desired intellectually, and or is bought and paid for. Just saying. Ken, you've been listening for a while. I've said this multiple times. If you're listening to this show, you're in the top 1% of informed people. And that's not even just about me. It's because you care. You care enough to listen to political talk, and you have enough political general knowledge on your own that you understand that whatever you're getting here is going to be better than whatever you're probably getting elsewhere. So you're already in the 1% of informed people if you tune into this. The problem with MAGA, and this really applies to the general American population, it's just impossible to be informed enough to understand these things unless you're consciously attempting to do it every single day. And that's why, when you look at the Israeli lobby issue and you say, hey, the Israeli lobby puts Israel first, and MAGA sits here and shakes its head and harumphs at you. And it's like, no, Trump said that. Trump said that in Jerusalem. They just don't have the knowledge. Most of MAGA are still good American patriots. They're just trapped in this Trump cult because they still think Trump is what he was depicted as throughout the process. But now he's in there and he's not. He's the snake. So they can't process this, but they don't even have the information that they would need to process this. And so that's the frustration. Now, there are people, as you describe, that are bought and paid for. So that is true. But that's the minority. That's the people that have a social media presence. Miss Anita, ex-MAGA infiltrate the Dems and force, can ex-MAGA infiltrate the Dems and force any changes? Well, I said this the other day. The way it stands right now, I will never be allowed to have influence over the right-wing Republican establishment. I will never be allowed access, and they would never put me anywhere that might allow me influence outside of my own capabilities independently. So, you'll never see me on Fox News or whatever, in the White House, all of this other stuff, testifying in front of Congress. You'll never see Owen Schroyer do that. Not as long as I'm depicted as right-wing. Now, I will say it's refreshing nowadays. People tune into my show. They don't know what my politics are. So that's kind of a good thing, because it shows I can do neutral news. I can cover political news, current events, and you don't even know my politics, or they're just consistently logical that it's not even applied to a party. I will, under the current status of the Republican Party and the GOP, I will never be allowed access. I will never be allowed influence. So the argument is, could I gain some level of access or influence in left-wing politics? And I would say the answer is yes. Now, I don't intend to do that, to be clear. I'm actually very happy being independent. I'm very happy not being affiliated or connected to anything right now. I'm happy being independent. I'm happy. I'm not part of a political activism movement or anything like that. I'm just able to be independent, do my news show every day, keep you informed. So it's actually kind of a relieving thing. And really, I sit back now and I ask, do I ever want to be a part of a political movement again? Supporting Trump and being a leader in the MAGA movement, only to watch it get totally co-opted and sold out, and now the current MAGA end up attacking me, it makes me never want to be a part of a political movement ever again. I mean, the price I paid for supporting Trump and being a MAGA leader was enormous. Now, to be clear, I would not change anything about that. I did that for good reason. I did that because I want to be an honest person, and I believe I was defending the truth, and I'm a true believer that we can save this country. So that's why I did it. But the whole thing now has become such a disenfranchising development, such a depressing development. It's just like, I don't know if I ever want to be a part of a political movement again. I don't know if I ever want to commit myself or connect myself to any politician or any political movement again. At least in a committed way where it's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to stick my neck out for you, because you end up getting cut and bleeding out, and then they don't come rescue you when you're dying on the battlefield. So, but I don't intend on, I'm not going left. I've not gone left on anything. Nobody can point to a policy change or any philosophical political change of Owen Schroyer that I'm going left on. That does not exist. Unless it's, you're not in a cult for Trump. I guess that's the only thing. I'll write in no confidence for the midterms. I can't vote for either party. Peaceful resistance by the people is our hope. Well, it's good to hear you still have hope. Does Don like thunderstorms? He seems unbothered. He was out in the thunderstorm last night. I didn't even go in his house. He just stayed outside. He's unbothered. He's a tank. Say my name, bro. No, I can't say your name. I'm really not even sure what it is. King of a doll. I'm just going to say King of a doll. Trying to get me in trouble here. Ida Tobear. The Snake, a poem Trump read during his 2016 rallies. Little did we know he was referring to himself. Well, he did it again. He did that in 2024 too. You'll come running back to Trump. Oh, that's right. That's exactly what all the cult people say. You'll come running back to. It's like, what does that even mean? I never ran to Trump. I was in the media and doing political news, talk shows, activism, everything before Trump ever ran for office. That's their big disconnect. That's what they don't understand. They're so captured by the Trump cult that it's unreasonable to even try and explain it to them. They're just gone, folks. So they're going to have to live through it and learn. It's all right. That's going to do it for today. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks to everybody for the super chats. 21-hour break. We'll do it all again right here on YouTube at the Owen Report, rumble.com/Owen. on X at Owen Schroyer 1776. Find the audio archives on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. I sign off. Same time, same channel tomorrow. See you then.